BGP Prefix Advertisement in NXOS. In this video, I am going to talk about how we can advertise the networks in the NXOS. It's so similar to the iOS and also iOS XR. It's more similar to the iOS XR. Let me to show you. Here we have two NXOS switches and we have two loopback IP address, one in NXOS 1 and second in the NXOS 2. I need to advertise the loopback 0 of NXOS 1 to the NXOS 2 and loopback 0 of NXOS 2 to NXOS 1. Let me to configure this scenario from the scratch, starting from the, for example, NXOS 1. First host name is switch 1. Then we should configure the interfaces. Interface ETH11. The first command is no switch port. The second is IP address 10.121/24. Then enabling the interface with no shutdown. This is the first interface. The second interface is interface loopback 0. I'm configuring this interface. IP address quad 1/32. Let me to check the interface status to show IP interface brief. As you can see, we have two interface, ETH11 and also loopback 0. That's it. Let's go to the switch 2. Host name is switch 2 and then interface ETH00, ETH11. Okay. No switch port. Then IP address 10.122/24, and after that we should enable the interface with no shutdown. Again, interface loopback 0, IP address quad 2/32. That's it. Okay, let me check. Do show IP interface brief. As you can see, we have again two interfaces. Now we should configure the BGP. The first thing is that we should enable the BGP feature with feature BGP command. Okay, and also in switch 2 feature BGP. Okay, let's go to the switch 1 again. Router BGP 65000. You know that the first command is the router BGP 65000. If you want, you can configure the router ID. It's recommended BGP router ID quad 1. And then you should use router ID, not BGP router ID. Okay, and then after that we should enable the address family IPv4 unicast. Okay, then we should configure the neighborship. The neighbor is 10.1.2, for example 2, neighbor 10.1.2.2 with the remote AS of the 65001, and also we need to enable the address family IPv4 unicast to this neighbor. This is the initial configuration of BGP. Let's go to switch 2. In switch 2 I'm using router BGP again 65001, and then I can configure the router ID with the router ID quad 2, and then enabling address family IPv4 unicast. So easy. And after that the neighbor is 10.121 with the remote AS of 65,000. Okay, after that we should enable address family IPv4 unicast to this neighbor. Now we will have the neighborship between these two routers. Do show BGP IPv4 unicast. Unicast summary shows us that we have the neighborship, and the neighborship now is in established state between router 1 and switch 1 and switch 2. Now we need to advertise the, for example, quad 1 and quad 2 from NXOS 1 to NXOS 2 and also NXOS 2 to the NXOS 1. Okay, how we can advertise? Look at here. We should use the network statement command. You can use network prefix /length CIDR notation or network prefix and then mask. Both of them are supported. Let me to show you. In switch 1, first we should go to the address family IPv4 unicast, global address family IPv4 unicast, using the network quad 1 in switch 1 /32. That's it. Do show BGP IPv4 unicast. Look at here. Now I injected this network in the BGP table of NXOS 1. The new things, the new feature is that this L means local. Okay, we can't see L in the iOS, for example, but here we have L. This means that we injected these routes locally, okay, into the BGP table. And let me check the NXOS 2. Here NXOS 2 do show BGP IPv4 unicast. Okay, we have the quad 1, but now we can see E means external. Okay, so interesting. This is new. in the NXOS, because you know that in iOS and also iOS XR, we have only in the status column only I means receive from the iBGP. We don't have E or L. In NXOS, we have L for local, E for external, and I for internal or iBGP. Okay. And as you saw, I didn't configure any route policy. For example, route policy is used in the iOS XR. In NXOS, we don't need to configure, for example, a route policy or some other things. Okay, after that, in NXOS 2, I'm using again the address family IPv4 unicast, and then the network statement, network quad 2, okay, and then look at here, you can configure again with the mask quad 255. Quad 255. Now do show BGP IPv4 unicast. Both type of the command are supported. Network prefix length and also the old command from the iOS is supported network with the, for example, prefix or network ID, okay, net ID, and also mask, then subnet mask. Okay, let me to show you. Let me go to the router switch 1. Do show BGP IP4 unicast. Now we receive this route. Don't forget, if you want, you can use a route map to change the attributes of the route injected into the BGP table. Look at here, network, for example, quad 1/32. We can use a route map at the end of this statement to change, for example, some of the attributes of the, for example, route injected into this BGP table. Now, we can check the show IP route routing table. Show IP route in switch 1, the route received from the BGP. We have quad 2/32, okay, and the route has the administrative distance of 20. You know that the eBGP routes has administrative distance of 20, and these routes received with the next hop of 10.122, and this is the BGP 65,000 external neighborship. Very good. In NXOS 2 also we can check show IP route BGP. We have these routes quad 1 received from the BGP. Also you can check the connectivity ping quad 2 from the switch 1. Yes, we have connectivity, or ping quad 2 with the source of loopback 0. With the source of loopback 0, we should have connectivity between these two routers source. For example, using the IP address, you should configure the IP address ping quad 1 with the source of quad 1, ping quad 2, source quad 1. We have connectivity. So easy. Very good. Now you learn how we can advertise a prefix in the NXOS. Don't forget, if you want, you can use redistribution also, but I'm using the network command.